Hey, what's up, everyone? Rob LaFond here. Curious what you think. If your girlfriend or someone you're dating, more I guess if someone you're dating or your girlfriend is still talking to their ex. I think in Latin America it happens a lot. It probably happens a lot around the world. I think it happens more here where people like they can't disattach and they just stay in these like gray area relationships with past relationships, whether they were real relationships, boyfriend and girlfriend, whether they're just kind of casual things, but they keep that going. And I've seen this happen a lot in the States as well. But I think more in Latin culture, it's like they have a hard time just being like, just cut this off. Some people do. I've seen a lot of people who do, but I've also heard of this happening. And for me, it's not really cool. I want to see what your experience is. I was dating someone last year for about 8 months. And it was a long distance relationship, but we really got along well. We traveled together, went all the way down to Ecuador on a motorcycle, not all the way there. We flew somewhere. And then anyways, we traveled around and did a lot of road trips and had a great time together, had a lot of good chemistry, enjoyed doing a lot of the same things. And we got to a point in the relationship where she was coming to visit and I had went to go visit her. I'm not really a big fan of long distance relationships, but the plan was that she was moving here, and so I kind of was willing to look, to continue with it. And I didn't really want to make it an official boyfriend girlfriend thing until she was living here in Medellín. And so a few times she had asked, let's put like a name on it, and that's very common, right? Like after a few months of dating, let's make this official. And I was like, well, let's just wait a little longer. Let's just give it some time. Like we're going in that direction, but I want to see how it goes. And obviously, if she's actually going to move here or not, right? So otherwise, I don't want to keep like a long distance relationship going. But we had traveled a lot, spent a lot of time talking, and really I wasn't expecting the relationship, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting it to develop as it did. I didn't take it maybe as seriously in the beginning because I was like, oh, well, she's from another area. We're just having a good time. We did some trips, made some videos, was fun, like some travel videos and stuff. And I like grew to like her more. And I think it was mutual, I believe. And the relationship progressed. We talked more. We did like video calls and all this stuff. And like I said, we talked about like I don't like to get into like a lot of the past dating stuff because I don't see it as relevant. But I think you have that conversation once or twice, a few times anyways, right? Say like, this is where I'm at. This is what happened in my previous relationships. This is what I didn't like. This is what I'm trying to get more of moving forward. And you can have that conversation without getting to too much detail. And she had told me her past, and then, she had expressed to me many times that I was the only one that she was talking to. I was the only one that she was interested in, blah, 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 all this. And then we were on, I would say, what I would call a semi-romantic trip over the mountains outside of Medellín, right? And we're in this cabana, this thing with a great view, and we're hanging out, having a good time, cooking and everything. And then one morning, she asked me this question, is like, who are the most important people in your life? And I'm like, what's this question? I'm trying to relax because I had been working a lot. And I just was like, it's my family, my parents, my friends, and then you, and you, right? Like, okay, what's this topic? And so she brings up the topic. She says it's her mom, her parents, right? Obviously, it's pretty common. And like, this is kind of a weird question. And then she says like her aunt, who's kind of like a second mother, her cousin, who's like, they're really close. Like they're kind of like brothers, right? Because she's the only child like me. I have a lot of relationship like that. And then she brings up this other guy that she used to date, but never got serious with when she was traveling. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. This one really important too. But then I'm like, why is she telling me this? And then I started asking a couple of questions. And I was like, okay, I was like, do you still talk to him and stuff like that? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, how often do you talk to him? She's like, oh, we talk a few times a week and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like a lot for someone, right? They used to date, they never got serious, but they broke up. And I get it. You can continue these relationships. Maybe it's just friendly. But it just struck me as weird. The thing that struck me as weird is, it's like, why am I not on the list of important people? Like, I'm the guy that's been dating you and taking to this romantic place. And so, first of all, I'm not on the list. So that like made me feel like kind of weird. And then second of all, that she's talking to this guy, right? Texting with this guy while we're on a romantic trip, and he knows some stuff about my life, but I know nothing about him. She didn't even mention him. She had told me about those adventures where she was traveling and didn't mention him, which was fine, because she was like, it never got serious, so like I feel like I didn't have to tell you. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense, right? So it's like, because it didn't add up. It was like, it never got serious, but I feel like I never really mentioned in our conversations about like exes and stuff like that. But I'm like, now you're bringing it up as like the top 5 most important people in your life. It doesn't make sense that you haven't brought them up. We've had so many conversations at this point, traveled, even talked about that destination where he lives. He also does some things similar to what I do in my career. So you'd think you'd be like, hey, I'm talking to a friend of mine who's working on this project that's kind of similar to your projects you're working on, blah, 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 or something in common, or just bring it up at all. So I know she was trying to be honest. I think she was trying to tell me in some way. She obviously wanted to tell me, but she was trying to find a way to bring it up, which was a really strange way to bring it up. Like the most important people, it's like to tell someone that you really want to date and be more serious with, that like the most important person to you is some guy that she never told you about. It's like a really weird way to say it. So anyways, I got really turned off by this whole thing. I'm like, at first I was like, we're there hanging out, and it kind of ruined the mood. I'm like, all right, let's just get out of here, because it was the day to leave anyways. We're gonna hang out some more, but I was kind of, okay, this is awkward. I need to like take some space and just think about this. We went down the mountain on my motorcycle. Going up the night before, by the way, it was this crazy storm in Medellín. It was like, I'll tell that in another story, but it was very dangerous. We're going up. We had to get there because we're in the middle, and it was just this highway going up. It was raining out. Actually, we had to take off my glasses because they're fogging up so much, so I had to drive. It was a crazy like trip going up there. It ended up getting there okay, but it was a dangerous thing. Imagine driving a motorcycle in a rainstorm that happened while we were going up this mountain. But anyway, so we came back, and I had some stuff to do. I was meeting up with a friend, and I had a business thing, and it was just on my mind. I'm meeting with my friends, and I just brought it up to them, like, how would you feel about that? And my friend from England was like, nah, bro, like I ain't comfortable with that. She's like still talking to her like ex all the time. Like, nah, like I ain't cool with that. My other friend was the same. He was like, no, it's weird the way she brought it up. And also like, it's like, I wouldn't really be cool with that for a girl I wanted to date. So I felt weird about it. It was like, maybe if she told me right off the bat, like when we had the relationship talk or a month or two in, like, oh, I'm still friends with my ex-boyfriend, or my ex, whatever. But we're just friends. And I just want to let you know about that. And if it was like really upfront, maybe I would have felt comfortable with it. But since it hadn't been brought up the whole time, and then it was like, once after she's already asked me a few times if we could be boyfriend and girlfriend, it felt weird. And so, yeah, we just ended up going really kind of sideways, because we got back, and I talked to my friends about it. Then I just felt more weird. And then when I got back, I was like, you know what? I need some space. I need to think about this a little bit. But she had come here in Medellín to stay with me. And so I was kind of in this weird situation. She does have family here, but I was like, this is awkward. I wasn't expecting this. And so I made a mistake, actually. I asked for space. I was like, I just need to think about this. But she kept on pushing. Like she didn't want to give up our relationship. So she didn't leave, and we ended up kind of just arguing over the same points more, which I think was not helpful at all. And I take responsibility for that part, because I could have just been like, you know what, go to your family's house and we'll talk, you know, when I'm ready. But I said that, but then I didn't like hold down the boundary. Like I let us keep on going, and it just, it wasn't productive. But after that, either way, like I, it just kind of fell apart. So I was like, I don't really trust her now. Cause I'm like, why didn't she tell me that? You know, and I feel like if she had maybe kind of had this moment of honesty where she just was like, I really wanted to tell you, or I thought about telling you a couple times, 'cause I'm sure it came up, but I just felt uncomfortable about it. And, you know, I don't want this to get in the way of us. Like if she had brought it up in a way like that, like maybe I would have somehow been able to be okay with it. But her position was, nah, like we never got official. Like it's not my place to tell you these things. I don't have to tell you this stuff. Like we're not official. She was just like, I didn't see it like as relevant. But she just stuck to the story. And maybe that was her truth. Like she doesn't see it as relevant, which I disagree. I feel like she did think about it a few times at least and being like, oh, I should tell him, because she did bring it up in this way where it was something important. So it must have been something that she felt she had to tell me. And so I'm sure it wasn't the first time that got brought up or thought of. And so, yeah, it just, after that, I couldn't go back. I tried, we tried to kind of work on things a bit, but I was like, I can't fully trust her. It wasn't even that she cheated on me. She couldn't even cheat because we weren't even serious yet. And I had been very honest about her, where I was at in the relationship. But it was just hard to get over. And I think for me, there's always something in the relationship. There's always these messy parts. But I think, you know, being honest with people from the get-go is something that's really, really important. If you're still dating other people, let the other person know, which I did with her. I was like, I'm still dating. We're not serious yet. You haven't moved here yet. We are getting more serious. But I think these types of things, they're uncomfortable, but you can't get down into a relationship and then have to try to figure it out later. Like I feel like it's important to be honest from the get-go. So I just felt like blindsided by it, and we were never able to recover. I had great times with her. We clicked. We have enjoyed doing similar things. She loved, you know, traveling on the motorcycle, doing these trips. I felt like we could have had times together and had very similar interests and just enjoyed. We just lost time together. And that doesn't happen very often, where you're just with someone where you feel like you lose time. And you just go off into the world and things happen and you can just let go and just enjoy it. So that doesn't happen very often, but honesty is key. Coherencia, like being coherent, being like the person that you say you are, is really important. I've been finding that's more and more true the older I get. So that's what this video is about. I'm curious about your opinions. Like, what do you think if your ex-girlfriend, or if your ex-girlfriend, if your girlfriend or someone you're dating is talking to their ex or someone they used to be involved with? Do you think they need to tell you, or is it none of your business until you're officially dating? What's your opinion? People have different opinions on this. I actually did a series of interviews about it. I was nervous I was shy about publishing it. So like I said, maybe I'll make that another video, but I'm curious your opinion. My name is Rob LaFond. Follow the channel LaFond Social, Rob LaFond on Instagram, and let me know about the video topics that you want to hear about, and specifically about this, what's your opinion, or you want to see some other videos or hear some other stuff, related topics. I appreciate you. I'm signing off for now. All right. Ciao. Be well.